This is macOS Ken.
Analysts go back to work. Apple's next earnings call is set. And a shareholders meeting without all that meeting. It's Wednesday, the 6th of January, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by AudiblePlus. Content that entertains, inspires, and informs. Visit audible.com/macOSKen or text macOSKen to 500-500 to start your free 30-day trial. This show is also sponsored by Sunbasket, delivering oven-ready meals that are fast, fresh, and delicious. I am a sucker for Indian food. I don't know how to make it, but what's great is I don't have to. I had Sunbasket's fresh and ready butter chicken and basmati rice pilaf recently. I would so go back to that restaurant. Cool thing is, again, I don't have to. Sunbasket delivers fresh and ready meals to your door. All you have to do is heat and eat, which means no prep and no mess. And the food is great. Not only do they use top quality ingredients, the meals are created by Michelin Award and James Beard award-winning chefs. If Indian's not your thing, okay. You can try beef chili with cheddar and Greek yogurt, creamy mushroom penne with baby spinach and almonds, or any of a number of other wonderful meals. And here's what else is great. Fresh and ready meals are just $8.99, so they're good for your body and your budget. And you can try them for less. Right now, Sunbasket is offering $35 off your order when you go right now to sunbasket.com/macOSKen and enter promo code macOSKen at checkout. That's sunbasket.com/macOSKen and enter promo code macOSKen at checkout for $35 off your order. Sunbasket.com/macOSKen and enter promo code macOSKen. And a big thanks to Sunbasket for sponsoring today's show. It was as if the financial side of the Apple world shook off the holiday hangover on Tuesday. Filings from Apple, announcements from Apple, and notes from analysts raising price targets and opining as analysts are wont to do. We'll start with a few of those. Philip Elmer-DeWitt's Apple 3.0 ran part of a note from Canaccord Genuity analyst T. Michael Walkley. According to that, he's expecting strong double-digit growth for Macs, iPads, and services. Oh yeah, and for iPhone too. That's despite the late start for half the iPhone 12 line and the even later start for the other half. Quoting his note, with $79 billion in net cash, Apple has a strong balance sheet to continue to invest and support long-term growth, with the 5G upgrade cycle likely to benefit during 2021, other hardware categories growing double digits, and continued mix shift towards high-margin services. We believe the share price is compelling for longer-term investors. So why not send that north? Canaccord has a buy rating on Apple shares. Walkley used Tuesday's note to raise his price target on the shares from $145 to $150. A listener on the live show posed an interesting question on Tuesday. When do we stop talking about super cycles and just start talking about cycles? I'm reminded of that question headed into a note from JP Morgan analyst Samik Chatterjee. Apple Insider highlights that note, which has Chatman saying services and the release of new Macs could make up for seasonal iPhone declines. Here's what's weird, though. If I'm reading his note correctly, he's not concerned that the iPhone 12 line is slowing down. Rather, he's worried that investors are expecting too much from the latest communicators. The way Apple Insider puts it, Chatterjee notes that projections of an iPhone 12 supercycle may be running up against already high investor expectations. So everything else to the rescue. He sees Mac and services saving the day based on a couple of reports. The first had device management firm Jamf announcing that its software is now managing more than 20 million Apple devices for 47,000 customers. JP Morgan thinks that means 1.4 million devices added last quarter, 1.4 million the quarter before that, 900,000 in the second quarter, and 600,000 in the first quarter of calendar year 2020. Not only is that continued growth, Chatterjee thinks it's higher growth than anybody expected. It sounds like he and his weren't expecting much from the Mac last quarter. That was due to Apple's emphasis on the last earnings call on cycling past strong back-to-school related demand in the September quarter. The piece also has Chatterjee pointing to a recent app growth report from Sensor Tower as an indication that Apple's services segment is continuing to grow. So even if investors are expecting too much from iPhone, the rest of Apple's stuff may surprise to the upside in the analyst's estimation. Chatterjee has an overweight rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $150. Then there are the analysts for whom all of the positives just don't add up. Two notes Tuesday from their like. Apple 3.0 ran part of a note from Merrill Lynch analyst Wamsi Mohan. He's turned on by Apple's services segment, though worried about tough comparisons for other stuff. Quoting Mr. Mohan, while we expect services revenue growth to remain strong, other categories which benefited from COVID-19 work from home, like iPad and Mac sales, will face tougher year-over-year comparisons in 2021. That leads Mr. Mohan to keep his neutral rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $135. As for the other bit of ho-hum, the problem with Credit Suisse analyst Matthew Cabral may be his inability to see past iPhone. Apple 3.0 posted a piece from The Fly covering Cabral's note. Quoting that, the analyst notes that his tracking of iPhone 12 wait times shows a clear trend toward a better-than-expected mix of iPhone 12 Pro, with waits still extended at over 2 weeks, more than 2 months post-launch, versus last year's 11 Pro that hit supply-demand balance within 6 weeks. He's also pleased with apparent trends for iPhone 12 Pro Max, though he does note seemingly softer trends for iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Mini. With no mention of Macs or services, Cabral did use Tuesday's note to up his price target from $106 to $120. Apple closed yesterday at $131.01. Credit Suisse maintains a neutral rating on Apple shares. Digging into the state of iPhone 12 this week was Consumer Intelligence Research Partners, or CIRP. Mac Daily News ran a release from the firm, which shows the basic iPhone 12 leading the pack in the States. According to CIRP, that firm finds that the new iPhone 12 models accounted for 76% of U.S. iPhone sales in the period after their launch. The iPhone 12 had the largest share for a single model at 27%. What's strange is, after CIRP says that iPhone 12 had the largest share, CIRP partner and co-founder Josh Lowett says, "There's no clear leader." In exactly those words. Quoting Lowett, there was no clear leader among the new models, with sales evenly distributed among iPhone 12, 12 Pro, and 12 Max. In contrast, in 2019, iPhone 11 had an incredible 39% of sales, with iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max combining for only 30% of sales. And maybe he meant no runaway leader. Whatever the case, CIRP sees iPhone 12 Mini as sort of lost in the shuffle. While no one model is running away, the iPhone 12 line does seem to be smoking its predecessor. That 76% for the total iPhone 12 line beats last year's 69% showing for the iPhone 11 line in a similar time frame, according to the release. As iPhone's fortune goes, so goes the fortune of the company making the thing. Bloomberg says Han High Precision Industry, you can call him Foxconn, set a sale record last month thanks to iPhone 12 demand. The piece points out Hon Hai is the exclusive assembler of the top-of-the-line iPhone 12 Pro and iPhone 12 Pro Max. Its sales for 2020 came in at $5.4 trillion new Taiwan, up slightly from $5.34 trillion new Taiwan in 2019, after COVID-era demand for connected gadgets offset a global economic downturn. As for what's tied to the iPhone 12 line, Bloomberg says revenue in the December quarter reached a record $2 trillion new Taiwan, according to Bloomberg's news calculations, based on previously released monthly sales figures. That beat the average estimate of $1.8 trillion new Taiwan. And word has Apple hungering for more. Apple Insider highlights a Nikkei report saying that Apple is looking to increase orders for iPhone by 30% for the first half of this year versus the first half of 2020. An unnamed supplier is quoted in the piece as saying the planned production for the next quarter and the following quarter have been decided, and the outlook is quite bright. The iPhone 12 Pro and iPhone 12 Pro Max are especially stronger than we estimated, while demand for iPhone 12 is in line with the forecast, but iPhone 12 mini is a bit sluggish. Not that it's all about iPhone 12. The piece says orders for iPhone 11 and iPhone SE are also up in the increase. More of our fiscal frenzy in a moment, but first a word from Audible, the leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks. Does all this business talk turn you on? Then turn on AudiblePlus. AudiblePlus gives you access to thousands and thousands of select Audible originals, audiobooks, and podcasts, including ad-free versions of popular shows, as well as exclusive series. This isn't choose one or two titles. This is fill your queue and hear as much as you want. Their business and finance section is chock full, from history of to how-to. Now, if business isn't your thing, there is so much other stuff to check out. Fiction and literature, health and wellness, mystery and thriller, science and tech. Stream as much as you want or download for offline listening. Walking, working, working out. Anytime's a good time for AudiblePlus. And maybe the best part, you can start listening for free. Visit audible.com/macosken or text macosken to 500-500 to start your free 30-day trial. Whether you're looking to strengthen skills, be more informed, or just be entertained, AudiblePlus has tons of titles for you. Visit audible.com/macosken or text macosken to 500-500 to start your free 30-day trial. And a huge thanks to Audible for sponsoring today's show. From guesstimates about Apple to a few announcements from the company itself. Circle Wednesday, the 27th of January on your calendar. That's when Apple will announce earnings for the first quarter of fiscal year 2021, aka the December quarter. It's expected to go the way it tends to. Earnings will be released after the bell on the 27th. That'll be followed by an earnings call with analysts and Apple execs. Apple will stream that on its site. It'll also make it available as a podcast. Twitters will tweet. Bloggers will blog. I'll recap the haps on that day's macosken Live and go a bit more in depth on the following day's macosken. Next on Apple's agenda, the annual shareholders meeting. Shareholders not included. Actually, I guess it's meeting not included. Apple Insider says the Cupertino company has set the virtual shareholders conference for Tuesday, the 23rd of February. Virtual because they don't want germy people hanging out near other germy people. Sounds like so much fun when you say virtual conference, but, you know, it's not going to be like VR. More like a Zoom call, probably. On that day, the piece says, shareholders of record will cast votes on measures ranging from the election of the company's board of executives to 2 shareholder proposals, according to a proxy statement filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on Tuesday. In addition to electing board members, Apple's looking to have Ernst & Young ratified as the company's independent registered public accounting firm. They'd also like shareholders to approve executive compensation. As for the shareholder proposals, Apple Insider says a first shareholder proposal seeks to nominate a second shareholder-approved member to the board of directors. This will be the 8th year this proposal has come up, according to the piece. Each time before, it's been voted down at Apple's urging. As for the other one, the piece says the second shareholder proposal looks to include named executive officer pay ratios and other factors into the company's executive compensation program. Citing payouts based on annual base salary, annual cash incentives, and long-term equity awards, proponents say there is no rational methodology or program to decide the executive compensation of large tech companies, including Apple. Tim Cook is not included in that one, by the way, and if Apple has its way, nobody else will be either. According to the report, Apple recommends a vote against the proposal, saying the current structure is designed with clear guiding principles that align the compensation of our named executive officers with the interests of our shareholders. Further, shareholders have an opportunity to cast an advisory vote to approve the existing compensation program, and have done so for the last 5 years. While certain shareholders may be bothered by the executive compensation resistance, they might be pleased with an Apple bonus plan. A piece from iMore says environmental goals and other touchy-feelies will factor into how much bonus Apple execs get above their agreed-upon pay. According to Apple's annual proxy filing, beginning in 2021, an environmental, social, and governance modifier based on Apple values and other key community initiatives will be incorporated into our annual cash incentive program. Apple goes on to say this change is intended to further motivate Apple's executive team to meet exceptionally high standards of values-driven leadership, in addition to delivering strong financial results. And finally today, Apple shareholders won't just be re-electing board members at next month's meeting. They'll also be voting on one for the first time. Apple issued a press release Tuesday naming Monica Lozano, president and CEO of College Futures Foundation, to its board of directors. According to the company, Lozano spent 30 years in media as editor and publisher of La Opinión, the largest Spanish-language newspaper in the U.S., helping shine a light on issues from infant mortality to the AIDS epidemic. She went on to become chairman and CEO of La Opinion's parent company. Lozano continues to serve on the boards of Target Corporation and Bank of America. And Tim Cook is a fan. He's quoted in the release saying Monica has been a true leader and trailblazer in business, media, and an ever-widening circle of philanthropic efforts to realize a more equitable future in our schools and the lives of all people. Her values and breadth of experience will help Apple continue to grow, to innovate, and to be a force for good in the lives of our teams, customers, and communities. Coming up in a few minutes, we're still talking about the second most important Apple story of 2020. NosillaCast's Allison Sheridan puts up her pick today. Find out what it is in a few minutes. Look for that show and subscribe wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken Live goes live again today, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/KenRay. Catch it live or on replay there. You can also grab the audio podcast, macOS Ken Live, wherever you grab podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Sunbasket. Get $35 off your order using promo code macosken at sunbasket.com/macosken. This show is also sponsored by AudiblePlus. Visit audible.com/macosken or text macosken to 500-500 to start your free 30-day trial. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macosken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.